This is the Redmi Note 11S. Now, when Xiaomi first launched the Note 11 series in China, we were all excited at the prospect of having these devices with the fast Dimensity 810 and 920 chipsets, but to the disappointment of many, that did not happen. Those of us in other parts of the world had to settle for the Helio G96 for the 11S and Pro, and the Snapdragon 680 and 695 for the Note 11 and 11 Pro 5G, which may not be enough of an upgrade in performance over the last generation. But is it too early to conclude? My name is Izzy and welcome to the channel. Now let's get started. The Redmi Note 11S is an intended upgrade to the Note 10S with improved design, display specifications, camera configuration, and arguably the processor. That is the Mediatek Helio G96, which is only a minor upgrade from the G95 which we had on the Note 10S. Before we go any further, let's address the elephant in the room. That is the choice of processor for the global version. I actually hosted a Twitter space after the global launch, and a couple of Redmi fans were not happy with the choice of processors, especially since we had the China versions of these devices on the more powerful Dimensity processors, and it's easy to understand why. Now for context, this is the Poco M4 Pro, which is pretty much a replica of the Chinese version of the Redmi Note 11, powered by the Dimensity 810U. It is a much better device performance-wise than the global versions of the Note 11S and Pro. As a matter of fact, the Helio G96 seems to have more downgrades than upgrades from the G95. While you get slightly faster CPU performance by virtue of the G96, you get less GPU performance in gaming. Also less on video output, as with this processor you can't record videos at 4K 30fps like you could with the Note 10S. It only allows up to 2K, and with the Redmi Note 11S we can only do 1080p at 30fps. But all of these, do they make the Redmi Note 11S a bad device? Not at all. Remember that the much recommended Redmi Note 8 Pro had the Helio G90T, and that was a great device. But let's not get sidetracked here. Our main focus is the Redmi Note 11S, and believe it or not, it is a much improved device over the Note 10S in a couple of ways which we'll see as we go forward. First off, pricing of the Redmi Note 11 series is actually competitive, with the Note 11S retailing for 132,500 naira for the 6GB version with 128GB of storage. Within the box you get the typical items as expected of Redmi devices. No headphones, but you get a 33W fast charger and a transparent protective casing. Also a pre-installed screen protector. For design, I'd say the Redmi Note 11S is a major improvement over the Note 10S. It feels more premium on the hands, especially this graphite grey which has a matte rare finish. It has a nice feel to it that makes me want to use it without the case. It has a really classy look and feel. Its size at just around 6.5 inches makes it a little convenient to handle with one hand, unless you have really small hands. The camera bump is two-stepped, most likely because the bigger one is the 108MP camera, probably similar to what we got on the Note 10 Pro from last year. The frame also has that matte finish which adds to the premium feel on the device. It houses all ports and buttons which have been nicely placed on the device. Volume rocker keys and power button on the right as expected. Also, the power button functions as the fingerprint scanner and works just fine. Easy to reach and absolutely no issues with it. We have stereo speakers on the Redmi Note 11S. You'll find one at the bottom and the other at the top. The bottom one lets out most of the sound, and the top one sounds really low and almost tinny, but I guess we'll take that over a single bottom one. We get the headphone jack positioned at the top this time, and of course that signature IR blaster for those times where you don't have your remote nearby and you want to control your electronic devices. The Redmi Note 11S is a 4G device with dual nano SIM card support. Also supports microSD card for extension. All models of the Redmi Note 11S comes with 128GB of internal storage. You can get it with 6 or 8GB of RAM, and MIUI 13 brings with it memory extension by 2GB, a feature which extends the RAM by using from its available internal memory as long as you have enough space. This should help with improved memory management and multitasking experience. Speaking of MIUI 13, yes, the Redmi Note 11S comes with MIUI 13 out of the box, and so far I've gotten 2 software updates. For some reason, this comes with Android 11 rather than 12. Most likely because Xiaomi is still struggling to optimize MIUI for Android 12. If I'm correct, so far it seems like only Samsung has it perfect with Android 12 optimization. Even Google is struggling with their Pixel devices. Back to topic, MIUI 13 on the Note 11S so far seems pretty stable, and it's a much better experience than the buggy MIUI 12.5. Hopefully when we get the Android 12 version it won't be buggy. MIUI 13 is Xiaomi's latest version of their software, which is doing a pretty good job of making iOS. You could actually say in terms of UI this is iOS, but with the flexibility that Android allows. You get new widgets, more like the iOS widgets. The most interesting addition to MIUI 13 for me is the sidebar, which allows you to add app shortcuts for easy accessibility, and you can launch them from wherever without needing to go back to the home screen. A new version of MIUI, however, does not mean less bloatware ads. You still get them in the same capacity as previous versions of the software, and you'll have to manually get rid of the ones you don't want. Ads aside, the MIUI experience has been pretty fluid, with smooth animations which have been improved by the 90Hz screen refresh rate, which is not enabled by default. Compared to the Note 10s, this is an improvement to the experience, even though 60 to 90Hz is not a significant jump, but there's that slight difference when scrolling or surfing through the UI. Speaking of its display, we get a vibrant and gorgeous looking AMOLED display on the Redmi Note 11s. It is 6.4 inches in size and has a center hole cut out for its selfie camera. This display is 100 nits less than that of its predecessor at 1000 nits of peak brightness, but that does not affect its usability outdoors. It gets bright enough and is fit for use outdoors even on a sunny day. The display is vibrant and sharp with a resolution of 1080 by 2400 and a display density of 409 pixels per inch. Whatever media functionality you want this for, be it playing games or watching videos or just normal device operation, the display is pleasing to look at. Being an AMOLED display, you also get the always on display functionality, which you are able to customize to your taste, and you can enable edge lighting for notifications. The Redmi Note 11s comes with a 5000 mAh battery capacity, and it can guarantee you a day of use on a full charge. I've been using this for just about a week and I've never had to charge it twice in a day. A 33W charger is capable of getting you a full charge in just a little over an hour if completely drained. Gaming is one area you'll find some disappointment with the Redmi Note 11s compared to its predecessor, and I'm afraid the experience won't make much of a difference even if you go for the Note 11 Pro, as that runs on the same Mediatek Helio G96 processor. The Helio G96, like I said earlier, offers lesser GPU performance in the form of the Mali G57, which is not as good as the Mali G76 on its predecessor. You can only play high graphics games here on medium graphics and high frame rates. Call of Duty Mobile, for example, plays at medium graphics and high frame rates, which is decent, but Note 10s of last year plays this at very high graphics settings and can go up to max frame rates. Pretty much a downgrade in that aspect. Gameplay, however, is decent and mostly lag-free, but I just wasn't satisfied with the performance I got here. On PUBG, you can get HD and high frame rate and play it just fine. I couldn't try Asphalt 9 as I think the game is buggy. All the devices I've tried it on recently, it never loads past the first screen. And although I never had any abnormal heating issues or crashing while gaming. Time will tell if that's just a problem, but as of now, I have none of those. Now let's come to the cameras. This is one area I'd say the Redmi Note 11s has improved in a way over the Note 10s. We now get a 108 megapixel camera on the rear, accompanied by an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera and 2 megapixel depth sensor. The selfie camera has also seen a bump in specs from 13 to 16 megapixel. I'll say this is where you see the most improvement, as selfie images look sharper and better processed than what we saw with the Note 10s. While there's still some softening going on, photos still appear good enough both with normal and portrait selfies. Subject separation is not perfect on portraits, but I think it does pretty great. On its rear cameras, we have good photo quality, though sometimes the photos do not appear as sharp as you'd expect them to be. HDR is decent, and you can also use that 8 megapixel ultra wide camera to get wider shots. When shooting human subjects, the Redmi Note 11s does well to give color accurate results, though not the sharpest. For rear portraits, it might take a couple of shots to get the perfect one, but you'll be satisfied with the results. Closer subjects get a good amount of background blur, and you don't need to enable portrait mode for that. If you want those extra crisp shots that you can crop in on and still retain detail, you can use that 108 megapixel mode, which will result in more detailed shots but also larger file size. There's a 2 megapixel macro camera if you do macro photography, and it will get the job done, though not with the best quality. If you take pictures at night, the Redmi Note 11s measures up to a good extent as long as you enable night mode. An area where we see a major downgrade in camera performance is video. The Redmi Note 11s and by extension 11 Pro can only shoot at maximum 1080p and 30fps from both selfie and rear cameras. This is a limitation of the Helio G96, which only allows up to 2K, but we don't even get 2K here. The Redmi Note 10s can shoot up to 4K at 30fps from its rear camera. You don't even get 1080p 60 here. Okay, so this is basically what to expect from the selfie camera of the Redmi Note 11s. Currently shooting at 1080p 30 frames per second, that is the maximum it can go. And I am also currently in front of a softbox. I'm going to go to the window now so you see what it looks like with the natural light source. Yeah, So that's, I'm currently in front of a window, sunny outside, and that's the softbox that was there before. So let me know what the quality looks like shooting from the Redmi Note 11s. Also the audio quality from the microphone. Is it picking up the audio properly? Is it good enough for you? So in what areas exactly is Redmi Note 11s an upgrade to the Note 10s? A high refresh rate display, better design and handling, better selfie camera, also that rear 108 megapixel camera. Gaming performance is a downgrade and no 4K recording. If you're not a gaming enthusiast and 4K recording is not a feature you'd use anyway, you can go for the Redmi Note 11s. But if you own the Note 10s, I can't really recommend upgrading to this or even the Note 11 Pro. Rather, I'd recommend the Redmi Note 10 Pro, which should be around the same price or probably less and offers better specs, including the Snapdragon 732G and 120Hz screen refresh rates. The Redmi Note 11s is a decent performing device, but let's just say by standards Xiaomi already set for themselves, we had way higher expectations, and the fact that there are Chinese variants out there with way more powerful processors kind of made it more disappointing. I'll be doing a video comparing this to the Note 11 Pro as soon as I can get my hands on that, so you can decide if the Pro is worth looking at as the specs are similar. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you want to see that. If you found this video helpful, do give it a thumbs up, and a sub to the channel will be appreciated. Peace out.